Peace and Black Power, family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born a Lot. And after 23 years, I could do this in front of the man that inspired me to do this. Party time. Oh, it's party time. Having a party. Hey,
yes, sir.
So we got an artist, we got a mastermind, we got a revolutionary, we got a myriad of things that exist in the space of one mind. You see what I'm saying? We got let's just start here. Philly's own, the Clubber Lang and Apollo Creed of hip hop in the building. We got the man, the myth, the legend, the master pen in the building. Tracy Lee, Esquire, in the building. Peace, somebody. How you?
Salute, Knowledge. Salute, and thank you for that wonderful introduction, brother. Whatever it is that's aligned in this world right now that got us together after 23 years, man, I'm truly blessed to be sitting, before you and having this discussion, man. So thank you. You know what I mean?
Right. So this hip hop aesthetic, and I was listening to Glory. I was listening to everything. I was binging, watching interviews, and all kind of stuff because hip hop is a bomb ass one night stand for the real ones. It's a bomb ass one night stand for the real ones. So the real ones, they come and they're in, and then hip hop overshadows them with something else, whatever they got in their lab and their concoction. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like you seen Richard Pryor in Superman 3.
Yeah.
And you realize that Lex Luthor wasn't shit. He didn't have shit on. They called him a criminal genius. He didn't have a damn thing on Richard Pryor.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Richard Pryor made some things happen.
No doubt.
So when you look at the game, and then you start to look at it, I called you the Clubber Lang of hip hop and the Apollo Creed of hip hop at the same time. So
explain that.
There is a thing where we came into hip hop and we got accustomed to the real. You know what I'm saying? Like that circle of 90s hip hop, the boom bap, like we got accustomed. It didn't start off like that, True. It started off like how Rocky 3 starts off. This Rocky's the champ, right? Rocky's he's the champ. Like he came from the gutter. He didn't start off like that. He came from the gutter, like we came from the gutter. So we heard the messages in the background. We got the message. You see what I'm saying? Reporting on our conditions. We ain't know nothing about our conditions. We were just living. You see what I'm saying? So, right, blind to the ways of mankind. So we're looking at that coming into it. You saw what Rocky was doing. He was like a collector. You understand what I'm saying? And he was an awful fighter. He was an awful fighter. It looked like nothing. Like hip hop looked like nothing in inception. You see what I'm saying? So as it grew, we transform. We get to Rocky 3, and he's the champ. He beat Apollo. You see what I'm saying? And he's the champ. So now he's there with Hulk Hogan's character, Thunder Lips, right? Yeah. They're supposed to have an exhibition fight. So he's the champ, and he's doing this exhibition fight. We got an exhibition fight coming up, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, right? Sure, beautiful. So they're in there, and it's like, oh yeah, after this, could we get an autograph and some pictures, blah blah blah. My kid loves you, and da 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 da. He said, yeah, sure. But while the fight is going on, he realizes that this is not an exhibition. This is a real fight. So your coming into the game is that journey through all of those levels, right? But you're not Rocky. We're Rocky. Your story is not told on the screen.
Got you.
Your story is told in the ring. So Mick is watching you like, A&Rs, whoever, blah, blah, blah. They're watching you destroy people. He's going to your fights and they're watching you destroy people and they're like, oh, yeah. And this is Philly. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, this is Philly. So Philly's story is not told on the screen, it's told in the ring.
That's right.
So Mick is watching Clubber Lang destroy all of these people. And he knows that Rocky got nothing for this dude. And Rocky's the champion. Rocky's the champion, okay? This is hip hop before your time. You see it, you see it go through many twisted turns, and you get on the microphone and they're like, who the fuck is this? On the track with the champ.
Yeah.
On the track. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh. So it's like, so the comfortability changes for the game because you come into the game like this. You see what I'm saying? You come into the game like this, ferocious and hungry. You know what I mean? And not humble. I don't give a fuck. Like, you can tell me, okay, I was humble. I don't believe you. You know what I'm saying? Because that was not a place in time.
I'll give you credit for that. I'm humble when I'm not on the mic. When I'm on the mic, it's something different.
Yeah,
totally.
Yes. So it was there, and Clubber Lang was putting people on notice. I want the champ. So they were dodging him. So the epic scene comes in where he goes to the champ in front of his lady, in front of his statue. Okay.
Yep.
He's like, don't give that sucker no statue. Give him guts. So this is you challenging the game. Like party time is like that's for me as a listener, it takes many forms. You see what I'm saying? Because
that's right.
Jaleel from Houdini said the party didn't start till I walk in.
That's
you
right.
See what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what was going on before me. So you on the microphone, it's time to mix it up. You're gonna have to step it up, or you're gonna get left somewhere. You see?
Doubt.
So hip hop wasn't ready for the Clubber Lang. You see? Hip hop wasn't ready for Clubber Lang.
I got it.
But we got ready because the other aspect of Apollo Creed, after Rocky took that loss, because hip hop took some losses, he had to train Rocky on how to be a champion. He thought he was a champion before. He had to have him do things and see aspects of himself and confront that defeat.
Facts.
He had to, you see what I'm saying? So hip hop took some losses and had to come back, but they needed a special kind of person to bring them back.
Facts.
So in order for him to face Clubber Lang, he had to be trained up by Apollo. He had to leave all of the glitz and the glam and go back to where it started because Clubber Lang wasn't training in the state-of-the-art gym. You see what I'm saying? If you look at your background, right? If you look at your background, that's where it's at. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's where it's at. So when you see something like this coming at you, like, nah, this guy, like Mick told him, this guy is a bulldozer with a wrecking ball attached.
No doubt.
So he's telling Rocky, like, you're not hungry no more. You're not punching on frozen meat. You see what I'm saying? You're not in the freezer punching on the frozen meat no more. You're not that dude no more. You happy, you comfortable. Leave this shit alone. Don't walk down this path. So it might have been people with some accolades. They might have had some esteem, some fame, some money. They might say they do this. There ain't nobody fucking with me. And along comes Tracy Lee. Cats start looking around like, oh shit, I might get got. And everybody's hungry. Everybody's in their prime. You see what I'm saying? Like so it's not like somebody aged out. Like, nah, everybody hungry. Everybody just coming out. Everybody on the come up. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
And to your point, you talking about some guys that are now revered as possibly the greatest of all time. Like
Right.
there's a slew of them. I mean, it ain't just one. Like you said, it's a slew of them that could be possibly revered as the greatest of all time. So back to you. Back to your point. I just wanted to make that point too.
That's real. So all of these things that Apollo reminds him of what he is, and then he's in his mind like, there's no way that this dude is teaching me, and I ever could have been better than him. How did I beat him?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
all these things, all of them come together. So in the like, we had took that time for granted as the people. We the people, are rocky. We're hip hop. So we thought this golden era of hip hop would just be hip hop. It would never change. You see what I'm saying? It wouldn't go corporate and all this other stuff that was going on, even though those things were going on behind the scenes.
Sure.
We find out way later, but as far as the consumer, EPMD said, you're the customer. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, we would never know these other things that was going on. So we out getting this. So
yes,
for this approach in regards to your journey, and then you doing like the unthinkable, you did some unthinkable shit. You went and beat the Russian. You was like, hey, I'm going to law school. I'm like, what the fuck? You understand what I'm saying? So you didn't lose to the Russian like the movie said. You went and beat the Russian. You see what I'm saying? It then came back like. So a lot of these experiences all together, and we could look at it from a myriad of angles. I just wanted you to know what you meant before we got into
anything. Thank you. And before we get into it, I appreciate that. Like, and me being a human being, right? I try to think outside of the flesh, but we're human, so you do from time to time, and a lot of times, dog, I need this kind of confirmation. You know what I mean? Like I may say and try to trick myself and say that I don't, because most of the time I don't. But there are lows that you hit where you be like, damn, why am I doing this? Because it doesn't seem to be reaching people. You know what I'm saying? Like the way I would like it to. But then along comes knowledge that just confirms everything that God has put in me to do. You know what I'm saying? And to understand that I'm not doing this in vain. You know what I'm saying? Like my path and my journey is mine and mine alone. And I have to walk this path in order to reach the people that he wants me to reach, or she wants me to reach, or whatever the creator wants me to reach. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for that. You know what I mean?
That's right. So now this is the opportunity to tell this, whatever part of the story that you want to share with us about that didn't make the movie, because that movie would have been Clubber. It wouldn't have been Rocky. You know what I'm saying? It would have never been no Rocky. Even the Rocky situation was real rocky the entire time. You see what I'm saying? So how did you, get your start?
Well, as you alluded to, man, for most people, it began when they heard the theme is Party Time. And, when that record hit the airwaves and I signed my deal back in 1996, 97. But really the journey started before that. I'm, just like yourself, man, we are the culture. So, I am what this is. You know what I mean? I'm a part of this from its inception. So, I grew up listening to, Kaz and Mel and all of the, lyricists before the term lyricist became the be, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I gravitated towards. So, I started writing when I was 12 back in 82, you know what I mean? And tried to get deals back in 85 and shipping, cassette tapes to various, independent companies that had major distribution like Next Plateau and like Def Jam and those companies. And apparently it wasn't my time. So, all of that carried over to, when I went to Howard University and I met some fantastic people who would actually shape the course of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like the Derek D. Angelettis and the Mark Pittses of the world, and the Sean Combs of the world. Like all of these people went to Howard University at the same time I did, who would eventually become who they are, and then provided a space to allow me to be able to become who I am, because I signed my deal with Mark Pitts, who worked up under Puff, and D-Dot was really the conduit between me and Mark. He's the one that told Mark, look, you should sign Trey. And of course, Mark managed Big. So this is how everything comes together. You know what I mean? And so all of that, was the lead into the record that the world would eventually hear. You know what I mean? And so that's how this all came to be.
That's crazy as hell.
I mean, word.
That's a whirlwind by itself, unto itself.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the tree is crazy. The branches, if you look at the trees
right.
and the branches and where they come from, is ill. It's ill.
So how did a Philly dude in that particular time, make it in the New York scene?
It was the Mark Pitts, it was the Derek D-Dot. It was really D-Dot. D-Dot is the one, and me and him still have a great rapport. You know what I'm saying? I consider him to be my mentor to this day. But when I met D-Dot at Howard, you know what I mean? And I saw him and this other cat named China Black Rhyme, on campus, because really my other passion is sports. And so I was gravitating toward that space, in high school. And because I didn't get a D1 offer, I got a D2 offer in basketball, and I was a baseball player as well. I decided to go to school for broadcast journalism. Well, I still had that passion, but hip hop is who we are, and having the gift of writing and spitting is what it is, man. It's a gift. So, but I just lost the passion for it for a quick second. But then I heard D-Dot rhyming on campus with this cat, and the passion quickly came back. You know what I'm saying? So, it was really a good 6-month hiatus before we got steered back into the right direction. And so that was really the bridge to, again, Mark, who also went to school with us, but Mark didn't know that I did music. And Puff, who went to school with us, he didn't know I did music, but D-Dot dealt with both of them. So, once, Bad Boy came to be, and Mark, got his situation from Bad Boy through to Universal, which is now, his company Bystorm, who I was the first artist that he signed, on the hip hop side, that was my introduction to New York. You know what I mean? And I can't say that it was widely accepted at first, because people didn't even know who I was. I came out of nowhere. Like, yo, who's Tracy Lee? Like, where did he come from? And then even to this day, you got people with, some animosity because of the fact that I rhyme with Big. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did he get to rhyme with Big? And you know what I mean? Like, I've been in the scene and around, and I ain't get to rhyme with Big. You know what I mean? But, it is what it is.
So what was that epic session like? Two sessions in particular, Big and Busta. What was that like? Because this like two gladiator, nuts at the at that particular time. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that energy with them two, and then I want to bring another name to the table after those two.
Okay. So we'll start off with Big. Big was, at that time, man, that was the greatest experience of my signed recording artist career, because Big at that time was the creme de la creme. He was the top of the food chain. He was the premier artist in the world. Everybody wanted to get where Big was. And so, it was an honor, and I was very humbled by the fact that he even wanted to get on the record with me. And actually, he is, I would say, partially responsible for me getting signed, because not only did D-Dot bring me to the table, but when these demo tapes came to Mark, you know what I'm saying, and he was playing for Big, and C's was in the car too, Big, was listening to the demos, was like, yo, your man is nice. You know what I'm saying? And so, based off of that, I think it gave Mark, put him at a comfort level. It gave him some comfortability to be like, all right, we're going to sign Trey. You know what I mean? So when we got into the session, it was already, established that, he definitely wanted to get on a record with me. And he's giving me jewels the whole time about the business, about the game. You know what I mean? Like his journey and his ups and downs and trials and tribulation of what he had, set, for himself after the fact. You know what I'm saying? What he was aligning himself with after the fact, after he got through his deal. You know what I'm saying? Like what he was trying to do. And then aside from that, it was really, okay, now with regards to the record and with regards to the bars and the spittage, he was coming for my neck and I was coming for his, because we MCs. You know what I'm saying? We want to make a great record, no doubt. That's the first thing. But other than that, all right, let's see who can outdo with the bars. You know what I'm saying? Who can outdo who with the bars? And that's essentially what it was. And you can hear it. Like, there's some people that'll tell you, you know, those are the best big verses they've ever heard. And if they say that, then I would have to say that I think I had a little bit to do with it because of the fact that he was coming. He wanted to let me know I'm still the king around here. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to let him know, well, I'm here too. I just want you to know that too. And it ain't no, you know what I mean? I'm not in awe. I'm in awe of the fact that you are, you know, from the way you've been able to handle yourself up to this point as being the guy that people are gunning for with regards to your status and celebrity. But I'm not in awe of you as an MC. Like, you're super, super dope, but I'm not in awe where I'm gonna just sit up here and just let you do me dirty. Nah, it ain't gonna happen. So that's what that was. Now, Busta was a situation, and I don't think I may have told the story one time, but Busta was a product of the theme. Now, the theme is Party Time was bubbling in the street. It was crazy. So now, you know, at that time, it was like, oh, we got to do a remix. So the remix situation came about. Nasheem Myrick, who also did TONY, who also did Who Shot Ya, you know what I mean? He made the track for the remix, but it sounded a little different from the original. The original, you know, had the Pieces of a Dream, zigga, zigga, but it had some other elements in there. The theme remix had the Pieces of a Dream, zigga, zigga, he had that in there, but everything else was different. And so when we approached people to do the remix, you know, first we approached Mace. And Mace was like, you know, because that was in the immediate Bad Boy family, whatever. And so Mace was like, oh, y'all not using the original? Nah, I don't know about that. Then I had a conversation with Black Thought because it was a Philly thing, you know what I'm saying? And so Thought was like, oh, you not using the original? I don't know about that. But then here comes Busta, and Busta's like, yo, let's get busy. But the thing about Busta was, and this is attributed to D-Dot, I don't know if you remember at that time, Busta, you know, very animated, very, you know what I mean? Yes. Like, you Brody the track in that manner. D-Dot had to tell him, look, man, we're not having this approach on this particular record. And so if you think about Busta from that point after, then that's when he started to experiment with, I mean, he already had flows, but he started to experiment with just enunciating and saying the words, you know what I'm saying, without just the because on that one, you know, he's still giving you Busta, but it's a little bit more subdued, wilding for the night. So everybody pass out, you know what I mean? Kind of skating on it, you know what I mean? And so he came in there, killed it, man, and you know, the rest is history from that record, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yesterday, 5 years ago, we had the transition of the immortal Sean Price. So we're looking at spitters, and we're looking at
one of my favorites, man.
The term bar variant, as you are. You understand?
You saw what I posted, right?
Yeah. It's there though. Like, it makes perfect sense. You see what I'm saying? Like, these things weren't there with everybody. You know, Sean wasn't a get along dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I talked to Rascats over here. You see what I'm saying? Like so when those roots run deep, they run deep. It's not really just like with everybody. You see what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Either he loved you or you're not glass out. So it was no in between. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So
facts.
Nah, that man, that brother, like that. You coming up with him in that time.
Oh man, that brother, man. Oh man, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? Rest in power. You know, him and his family. God bless him. But that brother, he's so genuine, man. He came up to me and was like, "Yo, Trey, that Many Faces album, dog. You and them personalities, that Clue record. Like, he had no problem. You know what I'm saying? Giving me the accolades. Not to say that I was looking for it, but just it kind of took me off guard because, like you said, like I'm good with all of them Brownsville dudes, man. Like I'm good with Buck. I'm good with Rock. You know what I'm saying? I'm good with all of them, man. And so he came out of the, was like, yo, man, I used to play this joint for my people in my hand. The complexity of it, and he's the one he's the first person. And this is back in the '90s. He's the first person. He's like, yo, you a barbarian. And I was like, yo, what you mean by that, man? Look, barbarian. You get it? I was like, say no more. And ever since that, man, every time I run into him, man, what's up, barbarian? You know what I mean? Like the last time I saw him was in Baltimore, and that's when we took that picture that I posted, and that was and it was that earlier that year. And so I popped up on the scene, you know what I'm saying, at this spot, and he did his thing, and he stopped. He's like, yo, I want to give a shout out to the barbarian out there, Tracy Lee, man. And that, I mean, just the little things like that, man. That just, and like you said, it ain't, many people that, you kind of chop it up within this game because this game is kind of funny and it's funky, you know what I'm saying? But you know the real ones. And he was definitely a real one. You know what I mean?
So what was it like for you coming in at the time that you came in off of like arguably two of the greatest losses in hip hop? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Pac
man.
and Big.
Yeah.
And what was life like for you after? Like you hungry, you in your zone. Like how do you maintain that, especially based off the relationships that you had and formulated over that time? You see what I'm saying? Like how did you get through that particular time?
Both of those instances, man, really kind of hit me hard. You know what I'm saying? Because I had met both of those brothers. I had met Pac, cool dude. You know what I'm saying? Back in like '94, I want to say, at a hip hop conference in DC. And then, of course, the relationship I had with Big. As a matter of fact, I was with Big the night it went down, maybe 5 minutes before we were leaving that that event at the Automotive Museum in LA, man, and it was just something that didn't feel right in my spirit. And we walked out of it together like this. And he nudged me. He was like, yo, Trey, what's good? What's wrong? I was like, yo, man, just something don't feel right. He was like, nah, man, cheer up, man, cheer up. You know what I'm saying? We about to go because we was headed to the Playboy Mansion, you know what I'm saying, for an after party. After he was like, yo, we headed to the Playboy Mansion, man, you know what I mean? It's gonna be all right, it's cool, you know what I'm saying? Put a smile on your face. I'm like, you know what, you're right, big. You know what I'm saying? So I went to, my vehicle. I went to the left, he went to the right. Went to my vehicle, he went to the right. Next thing I know, Mark gets a call, you know what I'm saying? Because Mark is still his manager at the time. He's like, yo, Big got shot. And everything paused. So me and him, you know what I'm saying? We took the car, went to the hospital. Me and him got out. You know what I mean? He went inside the building. He came back out. Yo, Big, he's no longer here. And so me and him just went for a walk, man, and everything was just, it was surreal. You know what I mean? And so from that point, like I said, I had conversations with Big, man, him chopped it up. Man, but I really felt like a real solid friendship got cheated by, what I'm saying, by his untimely demise. You know what I'm saying? So, I carried on still, promoting the record, promoting the album. And as a matter of fact, people don't know any better. So anything closely associated or affiliated with Big and Pac at that time, it was like you had to choose a side, according to the public. If you was down with Pac, then you was down with Pac. If you was down with Big in any way, shape, form, or fashion, meaning if you even rhymed with Big, it's an issue if you're in certain places. So I got death threats in right outside of San Francisco one time when I went up there for a radio interview, and I didn't know the severity of it at the time, and I kind of was like, and I was younger back then, so I didn't, I heard it. I processed it the way I would process it at that particular time, and it was really no big deal. But the the radio station was like, yo, we got to get out of here. You got to get you out of here. We got to get you out of here. So, I caught the remnants of that, in certain respects. But both of them, I mean, they were giants in the game. They're still giants in the game. You know what I mean? And to lose both of them, it was a travesty, man. It was silly, I believe, because I don't think it had anything to do with them too per se. I think it was something much bigger than that. Um, and yeah, man, it was terrible.
So where does the shift come in? Like what was the day or days or whatever the process was for you to say I'm going to law school? Like what was that
Oh
process like? From the artist to transition into the lawyer. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? I
yes,
need that Esquire story, not the
yes.
Esco story. I need the Esquire story.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that that came from just a product of the trials and tribulations of the business, and so I got dropped from Universal in 2001, 2000 between 2000 and 2001, December, January, somewhere around there. And so what that did was it had me in limbo. It forced me, to kind of make some decisions. So I went back to my mom's crib, right, just so I could, think it out. I still had some paper left. I did a real good job of whatever little paper I was getting, just and it's attributed to my mother because, she always, taught me about, business and being business savvy and putting some things away and not spending all your money and all this other stuff. So I still had some stuff, some paper I was sitting on. Went back to my mom's crib to collect my thoughts, but I only stayed there like 3 months because she was like, okay, you got to do something. I don't care where you go, but you got to get out of here. So I left, went down to Atlanta. Me and my brother had an apartment, and he eventually went on to grad school. And so I met a young lady down there, and so we were living together, for a couple of months while we were dating, and then but it just things weren't sitting right, and so eventually I'm sitting up here, I'm trying to make records. I had made a single called Ready, Willing, and Able with a flip side on it called Get On It, which was financed by Marlon Wayans. Shout out to Marlon Wayans. He went to Howard with us as well. Um, Put that out. I did some things for Nike, this thing called Nike Battleground, where we were touring around the country, one-on-one basketball games in a cage, and me and the brother John Sally were hosting these events. So I sustained myself for a minute. But then the money started running out, and so eventually got back down to about $7. And so it was like, what I'm gonna do with the $7, man? I can go get a meal, you know what I'm saying, and then that'll be that. Or I could give it to God. Like I'm a very spiritual person, so I was like, I can give it to God. Now I'm not into religion because I think religions divide. You know what I'm saying? But I believe in the source, and so it was like, all right, so let me, I went to church that particular Sunday, and I just put it in the pan, man. I said, look, this is my, I guess we want to call it a sacrifice, whatever. Here, and I'm listening. I'm all ears. Like whatever it is you need me to do, then I will do it. And so after that, it was kind of like, just me being open and trying to figure things out. And all of a sudden, I get a call from Wayne Barrow. Wayne Barrow is Mark Pitt's cousin, and he's the president of Bystorm. And he's like, yo, Trey, I just got a phone call from Universal. They say they got a check for you, but they don't have an address for you. So, if you give such and such a call, give them your address, they'll send you the check. So I called. I said, okay, cool. Called, gave them the address. About a week later, I get a check in the mail for $7,000. I said, oh. But then there's more. So then a week after that, I get another check for $57,000. So now I have to really start thinking about the next move. So in between time, I went and got a job, all some kind of stuff, moving furniture, but I'm still formulating what I'm going to do now. Cause now I'm in a good spot. I could have just been comfortable, but it's like, nah, I got to make a move. So I paid off some bills, and then it just dawned on me, man, look, take the knowledge that you gained while you were in this game and give the knowledge back, not only for yourself, but for other cats that's coming up under you. You know what I'm saying? And give them the kind of guidance that you never got. So it was like, it just made sense. Go to law school. It was on my mind. I wanted to go back to school, but I want to go back. I'm gonna go back to school again for psychology because I feel like this game needs that. I think our people need that, but I feel like our people need to sit down with somebody that they can relate to. You know what I'm saying? But this game, especially, man, there's nobody for these artists to talk to, and this game will chew you up. You know what I'm saying? If you're not mentally prepared. But back to the law school thing, it's like, yo, get the knowledge not only for yourself, but for other cats that's coming up under you. So decided to, take the LSAT. My scores were good enough for me to get into Southern University Law Center down in Baton Rouge, another HBCU. And then I went to school from 2003 to 2006, graduated, got my doctorate, passed the bar in 2007, and been a licensed attorney since 2007. So you're talking about the last 13 years.
So now you got 2 institutions under your belt. You know what I mean? Like you've been in the game here, and then you've been in that game. you know, uh, so I definitely want to know that relationship. You know, whatever you can share, because I know you can't really share.
Between the relationship between what?
Hip hop and law.
Oh, got you. Oh yeah, I mean, look. So culture, especially with regards to the business, right? If you can be in love with the culture, right? But as long as you aspire to be in the business aspect of the culture, there are things, foundational things that you have to understand and know about it before you get into it, right? And so what law school did was at the very least, give you a foundational aspect of what you can expect getting into the business of music, because that's really what it is. And so that's where the correlation is. You know what I mean? If you don't have that foundational aspect, if you don't have that foundational groundwork in place, and you are an artist that is aspiring to be in the business of music, then you will get eaten alive by the business of music, because that's what it's designed to do. For those that don't know, it's designed to chew you up and spit you out. You know what I mean? Because the way their contracts are structured is to gain an advantage, and they will gain as much of an advantage as you will allow them to if you aren't educated enough and equipped enough to understand what the game is. You see? Because you didn't create the game. I'm talking to artists. You didn't create the game. You didn't design the game. This game was not. It's very similar to the system that we live in America. Black people, we did not create this game. We did not design this game. Therefore, this game is not fit for us. You understand? So when you start talking about, change the system, they're not interested in changing the system, because if they change the system to make it benefit us, then they don't have the advantage anymore. Same thing with the music business. So you have to equip yourself and get the knowledge for yourself in order to play the game that is not designed for you. You know what I mean?
So now you come back into the game. What got you back recording? Putting back out music. What did it feel like for you? And then leading up to this epicenter. Glory. You understand what I'm saying? Like leading up to this, like this shit right here. You understand? Like this shit right here. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is that. This is where Apollo Creed and Clubber Lang combine together and become Tracy Lee 7.0. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, I need to know. I need to know some stuff. You understand what I'm saying? I need to know some stuff.
Well, I mean, truth be told, knowledge, man, I never stopped. Even when I was off the scene, like I got like just tons of music. You know what I'm saying, that I recorded and kept recording. Because like we said in the beginning of this conversation, we are the culture. This is what we do. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying, you don't have a deal anymore, because my love and passion and for this music and for this culture was way before there was a deal. And it'll be way after there is a so-called deal. You know what I'm saying? So the music never stopped. But regards to leading up to this, I put out I had Live from the 215, which I made right before I got dropped. that never, saw the light of day. It got shelved. Then, during my hiatus, if you will, I made a couple of other joints. You know what I'm saying? I made probably about 30 to 40 pieces of material. I think one that I put together called the 17th Bar, right? I kind of, hand to hand that for a second, and I'm gonna put that out on my Patreon.com subscriber site very, very soon. But there were projects like that I did that led up to ESQ, which is the project that I did after I went to law school and after I, passed the bar and I got myself settled back right outside of DC. I was like, okay, so there are people that don't know my story. There are people that wonder where I was, blah, blah, blah. So ESQ was the project that I really wanted to answer a lot of those questions. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention remind people that we still got supreme skills over here. You know what I'm saying? So then that project came to be. And then by the grace of God, I met up with this brother named Ojiz, who, oh man, I can speak for hours about Ojiz. To me, production-wise, nobody, I mean, nobody is seeing this dude. Nobody. I don't care who you are. Primo, I don't care, Pharrell, Timberland. I don't care, because he can do what you do, and he has his own thing with him too. You know what I'm saying? So I met up with him, and he's younger than I am. Like, he's I want to say either late 80s or early 90s, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe early 90s. And so there was a generation gap, but he has an old soul. And so he provided that kind of energy that I was missing. You know what I'm saying? Being as though that I was just born in a different time. Not to say that, my skill level is not up to date, but it's just the way he hears things and the way I hear things are going to be two different things. But when they come together, it's like magic. So me and him did our first project, Expect the Unexpected, and released that last year at the beginning of 2019. And that was really like a bridging the gap type of a project. But then it led to this, as you would refer, the epicenter. You know what I'm saying? Like Glory. And the thing about Glory is I wrote that project in 2 months, all while we were sitting in quarantine. It started March 13th, and I think I wrote my last bar Memorial weekend, right when the incident with Mr. Floyd, you know what I'm saying, the murder. Let me put it in its proper context. Right at the murder of George Floyd. And so really that project just captured everything that went on at that time, and that is still going on right now. When you start talking about, COVID-19, when you start talking about the social injustice, when you start talking about just the need for our people to come together and circulate our own thing within our own communities and with our own culture, like all of this is in this project. And when I wrote it and then I finished it, and as I was listening, like I've been listening to it way longer than the consumer has, and I still listen to it to this day, like, because it's nuggets in there, and this is a testament to the way this thing was written. There's nuggets in there that I have to refer back to give myself some energy and some context. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was writing this project, there were certain things that I know I had my hand on the pen. There were certain things that I could control, but there were certain things, most of it, I would say the pen was kind of moving by itself, man. And I don't know, I was just a conduit, man. I was just a vessel for whatever the spirit was telling me, because that thing was just, and I've never written a project that fast in my life, top to bottom, in order. As you listen to it, track 1 to track 12, it was all written in order. Me and Jizz had sequenced the album just like you hear it first with the music before I even wrote anything. We sequenced the album down musically, and then I wrote everything in sequence, in order from 1 to 12 in 2 months. It's never happened in my career.
So y'all pulled off some damn what's that? Some Venom shit right there. Like y'all went through the whole symbiote relationship right there. That's like fantastic, because normally, you got a mind for a project in mind, and then you start shopping producers. You listen to a whole bunch of beats. You got like 6,000 beats from everybody because everybody trying to be. They need one. You know what I'm saying? So you going through all of that, and you like, nah, we about to make this together. We about to make this happen. This is like phenomenal. You see what I'm saying? Like this is phenomenal. Putting all of this together. You know what I mean? Like so the alchemy that goes into it, that symbiotic relationship that had to be established because everybody couldn't, map with Venom. Venom was taking motherfuckers out. You know what I'm saying? He took motherfuckers out and ain't even show himself yet. So, you got with Eddie Brock, and Eddie Brock had the same kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Had the same kind of situation going, and boom, you and no jizz. I'm like, shit, man, like, what y'all conjoined at the hip or what? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's little brother, man. That's little bro right there, man. And we are like he's the left side of my brain, man. It's like, whatever I'm thinking, he's not, and whatever he's thinking, I'm not, and it comes together, or whatever I'm thinking, he thought of already, or whatever he's thinking, I'm like a step ahead of him, and I'm like, okay, cool, it's already gonna work. But it's a beautiful thing, man, and to see it come together, it's like, wow, we like you gotta.
And y'all recorded in the same spot, right?
No, we didn't. That's the thing.
No.
I engineered my vocals from here. We still in, you know what I mean? We still in lockdown. So I recorded my vocals from here. I went and got a brand new computer. You know what I'm saying? I already had the Newman, but then I got this baby right here, the Chaotica 8-ball, put the joint over there, and this is my studio. So and then I learned how to engineer myself. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as, my vocals. And once that was done, I sent it to him, and he did the rest. You know what I mean?
It's nuts because it don't sound. It sounds like y'all was right here with each other. You see what I'm saying? And you don't hear that no more. You like they're like, oh, there's something missing in the music. That right there. All the records we love was in somebody's dirty ass basement together. You know what I'm saying? Like 500 cats on top of each other. You see what I'm saying? So it was that. It's that energy that made it that great because we was listening to it the same way it was being recorded. You know what I mean? So we all around somebody radio.
Yes.
We all around somebody radio. You know what I'm saying? Like all that going on. So that kind of synthesis that happens and takes place. You know what I mean? And then we arguing.
We were on the phone every day though. I came from like we were as close to being in the same room as possibly could. So we on the phone every day. Like, okay, cool. I'm gonna fly. Let's fly this vocal over here. Let's take this person and put them right there. Let's, you know what I'm saying, take this and let's put the drop right here. Like that was a constant communication with us every day. You know what I mean? So it was close to that, but physically, no, you're right. We were not in the same room.
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic, because you can love the music and it shows, it takes a certain kind of ear, I guess, to kind of recognize it. Most of the people, they just bob their head to some shit and then it's over and it's like, we had like fist fights about hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So it was different, and you get a chance, like, cause look, like, damn, like, you come out in the era of the Wu-Tang double CD.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
I was at Tower Records in line to get that. You understand? So I remember that vividly. I got interviewed by MTV about that. You know what I'm saying? So yes.
That's crazy. That's because so like that's where the journey for me began in regards to decoding lyrics, past just reciting them. You hear a song and blah blah blah. Like that Wu-Tang double CD era was that time where me and my homeboy, we just sit and listen and break down the lyrics.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like this, So Machiavelli came out right before that. You see what I'm saying? That was a whole conversation. Motherfuckers who never read a book before in their life, they were reading. They were coming back to you talking about Machiavelli was such and such. I was like, what? You what? You what? You were reading? You did some research? So I'm like, damn, it's a shout out to Pop because it's like, damn, he had motherfuckers in books, like reading books, and
Factual.
doing research to come back to have a conversation about it with some veracity. You see what I'm saying?
Factual.
Like
Factual.
it's sports, it's sports or spades or whatever it is that will cause a brawl. Like a whole brawl happened over a hip hop record now because of somebody's understanding based off what they went and researched. That's it.
Word.
You read books, like you know what I'm saying. So that's crazy.
Word.
That's crazy. Yeah, but this project is, as it's advertised, a breath of fresh air. It's a reminder on so many levels. It's a, I want to spend the last little parts, speaking about this revolutionary journey that you've been on, that you've been kind of seeding us with, over the years, kind of little sprinkle here, a little sprinkle there. And this was like the chili sauce top fell off and it dumped right up in the joint. So we got all, okay. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
You've been paying attention, I see. Yes. I mean, it's look, man, I love my people. And I'm unapologetic about it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times my impatience kicks in when it comes to my people, because I feel like we have enough instances that should teach us and that we should know better, and learn from and move forward with, you know what I'm saying, with regards to, making some drastic changes with how we are, especially in this country and in this society. So it was like, especially, it's the timing of everything. I felt like, Mr. Floyd, like that was the spillover. I felt like, we finally here. We finally arrived. Now we really can like make some things happen, and we're not asking for permission no more. But it's sad to see that all it takes is a little bit of time to pass by, people to get outside a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then how soon we start to forget, you know what I mean? The plight, the mission, the purpose. Because I'm slowly but surely seeing that, man. So it's like, okay, Trey, you at a crossroads. What do you do? Like with regards to, continuing to get the message out. And really the simple answer is, man, just keep doing what you're doing. That's what I'm telling myself. Just keep doing what you're doing. There's going to be certain people that get it, and there's going to be certain people that don't get it at all. And there's going to be certain people that may not get it when you want them to get it. But if you put it out there, they will come. If you build it, as a good friend of mine has said, if you build it, they will come. So just keep building it, man. Just keep building it. And so that's what I'm about, man. I got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, man. And I just want to be a shining example and a leader and a teacher and an educator for them, so that when I'm long gone, they can continue to teach their kids and their kids teach their kids. And that's how we build our people, you know what I'm saying, up. For those that, we're in these times, and those that, just want to get back to normalcy, if you will, just want to get back to that. That's cool. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times I know that's out of fear. Like you don't want to change because you're scared to change. You know what I'm saying? You used to, and you're comfortable with the way things were. You know what I mean? So you just want to get back to that. You know what I mean? And I get it. But I'm not here for that. You know what I'm saying? I love my people too much for that. You know what I mean? So that's where we are with it. That's where we are with it.
So let's take the last, few minutes talking about where people can get the project, the Patreon, thing that you got going on, how everything kind of came together with that, and what some of the things, you got tiers over there, you got all kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? So take a few moments to talk to the fam about what you got going on with that.
No doubt, man. No doubt. So right now, we cutting out the middle, man. We not dealing with Apple Music. We're not dealing with Spotify. We're not dealing with Tidal. We're not dealing with Amazon. You have to come straight, or this is my way of getting straight to the consumer, right? Giving the product, giving the experience to the consumer. So what I've done is we've aligned ourselves with Patreon, right? And created a platform where at patreon.com, patreon.com/Tracy Lee Music, where you can get involved with the experience. Meaning, you get, this album and I'm gonna start calling it the epicenter. You can get Glory, with your subscription. This is a subscription-based platform, right? So, and there are different tiers to it, and it's all really about what you're willing to give. You know what I'm saying? It's very contribution based. So we have a $5 tier, we have a $10 tier, we have a $25 tier, and we have a $100 tier, and it's no pressure. You know what I'm saying? You just contribute what you can contribute. But with that contribution, you get new music like Glory. You get unreleased music like we just dropped live from the 215, which was unreleased by Universal, but we dropped it on this platform here. You get the entire collection of albums, if you will, that I put out since I signed my deal, which is a 5-set, which is 5 albums, if you will. You got Glory, you got Live from the 215. Well, let me do it in order. You got Many Faces, you got Live from the 215, you got ESQ, you got Expect the Unexpected, and you got Glory. You can get all 5 of them on Patreon. You can't get that anywhere else. You understand? But then not only that, we have a podcast that we're going to put out there. Everybody and their mama got a podcast, but I promise you this will be totally different. You also got merchandise that we're going to put out there. You got studio sessions that you can peek your head in that, people weren't privy to, interviews, and just the day-to-day life of what I deal with and what I go through, you know what I'm saying, with me, my kids, my household, all that, my wife, all that kind of stuff. It's the experience. Now, if you just want to buy the music and the merch, you could always go to TracyLeeMusic.com, TraceeYlee music.com. You can always go there. You know what I mean? As you can see on the board. But again, it's just depending on how you want to experience Tracy Lee. If you just want the music and the merch, you want to come over there. If you want the full experience, you come on over to Patreon. And man, I encourage everybody. I implore you. Yes, come on in. Come on into the Tracy Lee world, man. I promise you it'll be enlightening. You dig?
Definitely. Well, I thank you for your time, and I definitely want to do a part 2 with you and your other half, Jiz, and get y'all together because I got some questions about the album. So I got some stuff. I need to know some stuff about some stuff. You understand?
Absolutely. We can
about both albums. You know what I'm saying? Like I got some things. You know what I mean? To ask album specific, but I definitely wanted to give you your Teflon and your mortar rounds while you're here. Damn them flowers. I say them for when you transition. Right now, I need you armed dangerous.
Hey man, you gotta stay equipped in these streets, so I appreciate that Teflon. You dig? You know what I mean? Yeah. Yes, sir.
You armed dangerous out here.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you, man. This is a great conversation, man. And respect. You dig?
And this is yours. You can take it, chop it, whatever, use it.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Beautiful.
So
you'll send me the file?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that. My man.
All right. And I got some other people that want to holler at you too. So
okay. Oh, for the interview? Oh yeah. Well, hey, send them through. Just tell them to hit me on hit Michelle and we'll line it up. That's easy.
Okay.
That's easy. Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, brother. Well, you have
the rest of your day.
Man, this was a pleasure, bro.
All love.
All love.
Club of Lane.
Yes, sir. You see, I'm ready. You see the basement.
Yeah.
You see the basement, man. All right, brother. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Yes.